Hello and welcome back to the first and best dedicated channel about Kitsumon. My name is Mike and today we're going to take a look at Baalimon. And Baalimon is one of my personal favorites because I love the design and I love the color palette and hopefully I will love its abilities too. So let's dive right into it. Baalimon is one of the three rare Kitsus together with REFERRAL and Nuclismo, with only 500 NFTs in existence, which means that only 500 people will ever be able to own and use an original Baalimon in Kitsumon. Now let's quickly talk about the elements of Baalimon. We have 2, Mana and Void. Both of them were already covered in another video. Mana you can look up in the Kitsumon Spotlight, and Void was covered in the Neutronic Spotlight. So I will not go over them again. Let's jump right into the abilities. The first ability is called Void Energy. Baalimon unleashes a small wave of void energy and gains a burst of movement speed for a few seconds. So this sounds like a pretty standard ability. You deal a little damage in front of you in form of a wave and improve your movement speed, which is always nice. Very solid first ability. Next one is called Demon's Grip. Baalimon lunges at an enemy with its claws, dealing damage and briefly stunning the enemy. If you have watched any of my previous videos, you would know that stun is one of my favorite debuffs inside any game. So obviously I think this is a very solid ability. Baalimon lunges at an enemy. This implies that you can initiate this ability from afar, which is also good. You close the distance between you and the enemy and deal damage and stun them. What's not to love? Amazing. Next ability is called Triple Threat. If at least 2 other allies are close to Baalimon, activating this ability gives all of them a shield as well as burst of movement speed. Okay, so the way this is written, I do not understand if Baalimon itself also gets a shield, because it says activating the ability gives all of them a shield. But then again, it's called Triple Threat. So 2 other allies plus 1 makes 3, that's a triple. So I guess Baalimon gets a shield as well, which would be nice. A cool ability, shielding yourself and allies is always good. The only problem is you need at least 2 allies with you. So if you're just you and your body, you cannot use it. The next ability is called Shadow Step. Baalimon rapidly dashes to another location. If an enemy is nearby the targeted location, Shadow Step's cooldown is refunded up to 2 times. What? Ah, okay. So you dash to a location and normally the ability would go on cooldown for X seconds. But if an enemy is where you dash to, your cooldown gets refunded. So you can use it again and again, so 2 times. You can use it 3 times before it actually goes on cooldown. So I think it is a nice ability because it gives you a lot of mobility, but for now I don't see how Baalimon would benefit from this ability when it comes to damage output. So let's see what else Baalimon has in store, and maybe one of the other abilities elevates Shadow Step even more and make it even more useful. So the next ability is called Dimensional Link. Temporarily slips into an alternate dimension, becoming unable to be hit and unable to attack. Okay, so this is a classic evasion. You become untargetable either by auto attacks, single target spells or AoE, and at the same time you cannot attack. So this is a very useful ability if you time it right. This could be a real game changer if you evade like the ultimate of someone, or yeah, get away on 10 HP because you dodged the last projectile that was heading towards you. This is a very nice playmaker ability, so I like it. Next up we have Void Walk. Baalimon activates the power of the Void to temporarily leave behind a trail of dark matter wherever it goes. Enemies inside the dark matter get slowed and take increased damage from all sources. And there we have it, guys. This ability in conjunction with Shadow Step is amazing. Because the way I would use this is activate Void Walk and then Shadow Step across the battlefield, so I hit as many enemies as possible with the trail that I leave behind with Void Walk, and slow them and make them take increased damage from all sources. Not only from Baalimon itself, from all sources. So this is a very nice debuff which enables your whole team to deal more damage to the enemy team. Very nice ability. The next ability is called Magical Presence. Can only be activated when near an ally. Baalimon gains increased movement speed and gives the nearest ally a temporary damage boost. Okay, so again, this is only working if you have someone with you. So Baalimon is a complete support Kitsu as far as it seems. It cannot deal much damage on its own. It is a typical buffer that enables its teammates, makes them stronger, makes them gain shields to tank damage. So on its own it seems weak, but when paired up with one or two Kitsus especially, it sounds like a force to be reckoned with. The last ability is called Rift Walker. Baalimon transforms into the Rift Walker, a being that lurks inside the darkest corners looking to drag enemies into its pocket dimension. Again, this is the transformation ability, which will be covered in a different video, but from what we can see here, it sounds like Baalimon fulfills the role of an absolute support Kitsu. So dragging enemies into its pocket dimension sounds like you're debuffing them, stunning them, dragging them into an alternate reality where they basically get taken out of the game, can do nothing. So it seems like an ability that changes the outcome of a battle by removing the healing Kitsu out of the game, for example, and giving your team the edge 5 versus 4 or 4 versus 4 if Baalimon also gets taken out of the game when using this. But that's all speculation for now. We don't know anything about the abilities. So definitely subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, make sure to check out the video when it goes live about the transformation abilities. I'm very hyped to see all of them. We already saw a few concepts, they look absolutely amazing, and I'm very curious about the abilities as well, so stay tuned for that. So now let's head over to the passive abilities, and the first one is very interesting because it is a profession skill called Master Alchemist. This Kitsu's scientific skill rubs off on you and increases your brewing speed. So if you do not know about professions, professions are a playable feature in Kitsumon where you literally do a job. So you take up a profession of your choice, for example cooking, fishing, or alchemist, which will be introduced later in the game. And yeah, you can create potions or farm or mine minerals, whatever there is to do. So the alchemist profession will be all about creating potions and buffs. For example, the team already mentioned that there probably will be a potion that will allow you to reduce your cooldown after breeding. So if you breed a Kitsu, the parents will have a cooldown before they can breed again. And it gets increased with every breeding cycle. So alchemist profession is very attractive for people who will breed a lot. And yeah, so Baalimon is really useful if you take up the alchemist profession, because it allows you to create potions more quickly, more efficiently. So you need Baalimon if you're going to take up the alchemist profession. The next ability is called On Rails, and it's a racing passive. A strong grip on the ground lets this Kitsu go through curved terrain with superior control. Okay, so when I read this, I think that it means that your Kitsu does not lose as much speed when you go through curves. But I'm not sure if it is intended that way, because it says curved terrain and not curves. So maybe it has more to do with the racing track itself rather than the curves or the speed. Maybe it's more like your Kitsu does not slip or I don't know, because we don't know much about the racing mechanic at the moment. So this one is definitely something I need to check out when we have more information. The last ability is called Toughness. Nothing can weigh this Kitsu down. Stuns and slows have a lower duration. And this is obviously a MOBA passive and a very, very nice one. Because reducing the time you're slowed or stunned, especially as a support Kitsu, is very nice. And not only for Baalimon, but also for breeding, I cannot imagine that anyone would be unhappy if they create a hybrid and it happens to get the Toughness passive. So, very nice ability, always useful to have. Great job. Alright, what do I think about Baalimon, the final verdict? I think that Baalimon is an amazing support Kitsu. It sounds like it really brings out the best in your team because you can shield them, you can increase the damage output, and you can debuff your enemies to take even more damage from your team. So I think Baalimon will be really, really annoying to go up against. And to be honest, I think it will be one of those Kitsus which will find its way into most of team compositions because it is amazingly useful. And if you do not have a Baalimon right now, I think now would be the perfect time to get one. The breeding function is around the corner, so look out for Baalimons on the marketplace if someone is willing to let one of them go and snag it, because I can say with 99% certainty that Baalimon will be absolutely huge. Because the way it seems, it's not only useful for the MOBA, but also has a very nice passive for the Alchemist profession. And to have that is really going to impact your output of Kitsus that you can create with the breeding function. So now it's your turn to let me know what you think about Baalimon. Drop me a comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. All that's left to say is thank you for watching. As always, have a great day, and I see you in the Kitsumon metaverse.